Dear fellow scholars, my name is Qiehao Zhu from Singapore University of Technology and Design. Here, I present our recent work of generative pre-trained transformers from biologically inspired design. I'll start with some background introduction of design by analogy and bio-inspired design. Design by analogy is a design methodology that innovates the design target through the analogy with another domain. Bio-inspired design is a subset of design by analogy, where the source domain is the biological systems from nature. However, although design by analogy could result in novel innovations that can hardly be obtained otherwise, the process is usually serendipitous, and drawing an analogy is especially challenging when the source domain is nature. Three domains have been identified in bio-inspired design literatures: problem domain, nature domain, and solution domain. The transition among the three domains have been proven challenging. Here, we introduce our framework of generative bio-inspired design with natural language processing approach. The concept generation is empowered by natural language generation that retrieve biological system and transfer it into novel solution. The evaluation assesses if the mappings between domains are strongly established using trained text classifiers. The NLP technique we use is called pre-trained language model, or PLM in short. PLMs are language models that have been trained with a large data set of textual information and can be applied to deal with specific language-related tasks. Here are list three most popular PLMs nowadays. Among these, GPT-3 is known for its outstanding capability of natural language generation and is pre-trained on a much larger dataset that contains more knowledge from different domains. Moreover, GPT-3 is recently made tunable by OpenAI, and only a few hundreds of samples are required to fine-tune a model for customized tasks. These reasons made it suitable for our bio-inspired design task because a very large amount of bio-inspired design data can hardly be obtainable, but we would still like to leverage as much knowledge as possible through the PLM. The dataset we use in this work consists of 221 bio-inspired innovations from asknature.org, which includes benefits, application, a challenge statement, innovation details, and a biomimicry story. On the right is an example of data structure on asknature.org. Based on the method and dataset, we identified three types of generative bio-inspired design based on NLP. Each type starts with a more strictly defined problem domain. Type 1 has the most open problem space, but only constrain the application. Type 2 introduces benefits, which briefly concludes the problem to be improved in a few short terms. Type 3 further constrains the problem space by using a paragraph of challenge statement. The generators are fine-tuned with the data sequence of problem, biomimicry, and then innovation. Sequence is very important for GPT because it is an autoregressive model that predicts the next token based on all tokens before. After fine-tuning, the model can generate biomimicry and innovation based on the input new problem. And this workflow works for all three types of generators. To assess the model's capability of generating novel and diverse design concepts, we use the problem domains of 3 samples from Ask Nature. Use them to generate 50 concepts for each problem with our generator. Then compare the output innovation with the Ask Nature's ground truth innovation, measuring their word movers distance. WMD measures the distance between 2 text documents based on word embeddings. Lower WMD score means the 2 texts of interest are more semantically similar. Here, it means the generated concept is less diverse from the well-established innovation. The results show that Type 1 generation results in the most diverse concept, while Type 3 generation gives much less diverse ones. This means that GPT-3 generates more diverse concepts with more open design problem input. For relevancy evaluators, we also use GPT-3 to fine-tune classifiers that filter only the relevant result from the generators. The 2 domains that form the positive samples are from the collected Ask Nature dataset. In negative ones, we only replace the innovation domain into random samples to create the irrelevancy. Such a sample is randomly generated by GPT-3. After fine-tuning with the prepared dataset, input a new set of domains. The classifier will be able to assess whether the given domains are mapping with each other or not. We conducted a case study to test the method in a flying car design project with a real-world design problem. We interviewed the project team of 10 engineers that have experience on flying car design. Lightweight design emerges as a major design problem due to the heavy powertrains for the multimodal power system in a flying car, and which requires novel solutions. We organize and summarize the problem in the form of application, benefits, and challenge. We generate 50 concepts using each type of generator. Across all 3 types, the generators are over 50% likely to retrieve birds as analogies, and then insects. This is consistent with the cognitive process of humans, where people tend to retrieve information based on attribute similarities. Say, retrieve flying animals to design for flying cars. To evaluate the novelty and feasibility of the generated concepts, a survey is conducted among the team. 8 samples are selected for the team to review. 2 samples from Ask Nature as the comparison group, and 2 samples from each type of generation that passed the automatic matrix. The team gave relatively high novelty level, but only intermediate feasibility levels to the comparison group. Comparing to this, Type 1 and Type 2 concepts got lower feasibility score but higher novelty score, while the ones generated from Type 3 are considered more feasible but less novel. This finding is not surprising because Type 1 and Type 2 generations are more open than Type 3. Finally, Here is an example flying car concept generated through our method, which take pterosaurs' brains and skeletons as analogy. In addition, inspired by the results, we further took the folding mechanisms of pterosaur skeletons to design the foldable wings and wheels of the flying car. For both the inspiration provided through the concept and the one that we further developed, the human engineers in our team had no clue to find this source of inspiration from nature without the use of AI. This work contributes to the design community as the first to explore generating bio-inspired design in natural language by employing generative pre-trained transformers. We demonstrated that the gaps between engineering and biology in bio-inspired design could be bridged through AI. However, there are limitations that could need further attention. First, the size of the Ask Nature dataset is relatively small. The biological knowledge learned are mostly from the pre-training data of GPT-3. Second, only 3 generation strategies were included in the experiments. More flexible approaches could be explored. For example, solution-based approach that use biological systems as input and generate innovations. Finally, more evaluation metrics needs to be explored, developed, and tested in future works. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.